Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from Shomu's Biology. This series of videos are on immune system cells of immune system, and today we are going to talk about macrophages of immune system and the role of macrophage, what they do, what they don't do. Basically, we are going to talk about the origin of macrophage, the structure of macrophage, the location of action of macrophages, and we are going to talk about the function of macrophage and the mechanism of action of macrophages in our immune system. So let's begin. So let's move on to the origin of the macrophages. They are originated from hematopoietic stem cells in the bone marrow. So inside the bone marrow, that is the location where they are produced from the hematopoietic stem cells. The second thing is their monocyte precursors circulate in the bloodstream. So basically, the macrophage is a version of monocyte inside our tissues. When the monocyte is transferred from the bloodstream into the tissues, their name is altered and different names are given to them. Different types of cell names are given to them. We are going to discuss that very soon, but they are known as macrophage only when they are present in the tissue. When they are present in the bloodstream, we call them monocyte. Okay, and they differentiate into macrophages inside the tissue under local cytokines. Release of local cytokine is important for this transition, and also the presence of growth factors are key ingredient for the macrophage to get activated or triggered. Now let's look at the structure of macrophage. Here you can see the macrophage structure is little complicated. It has very large structure. You know, the cell size here is big, and inside the cell they have plenty of lysosomes. You can see that a lot of lysosomes are found there. Okay, a lot of lysosomes are visible inside the macrophage itself. Large phagocytic cells, they are known as phagocytic cells because the primary job for them is to engulf foreign invaders like bacteria or other pathogen components. For phagocytosis, they need to produce pseudopod, the extension of cytoplasm of them, right? They need to have these pseudopods. Okay, they have long thin pseudopods as you can see in this picture, and also the small pseudopods. Both are required for engulfment. You can see this is a place where they are engulfing some bacteria. Bacteria is denoted in yellow color, and this is a place where the vesicle is completely formed around some bacteria, and this is a image where it was shown that a vesicle the vesicle that is being endocytosed inside. So the endocytosis is being done here. Okay, and then it is going to be tagged with lysosome, and lysosome is going to release its component, and after lysosome release the components, all the structures of the bacteria or the pathogen are going to be degraded. This is the overall idea. This is how it looks. Morphology varies by tissue type and also the state of activation, and they have surface markers. What surface markers they have? They have CD14, CD68, and they have specific pattern recognition receptors or PRRs known as TRR, toll-like receptors. They have this toll-like receptors on their surface, and they have CD14 as a marker, CD68 as a unique marker on the surface of this large phagocytic cells known as macrophage. And also they have MHC class 2 molecules on their surface, which makes them antigen presenting cells. They become a professional antigen presenting cell because they have MHC class 2 with which they can fragmentize and showcase a fragment and part of the foreign pathogen antigen to the rest of the immune system. That is what they can do. Okay, the location of action, where do they located, where they work, where they act? I told you that they are basically found almost all tissues throughout the body. Now for example, there are tissue specific macrophages that are present in our body, and they are given different names. For example, in the liver they are known as Kupffer cells. Okay, in the alveolar tissue in the lung, they are known as alveolar macrophage. Then we have in the central nervous system, that is in the brain, they are known as microglia or microglial cells. You can see alveolar macrophage when they are present in the lung. When they are present in the brain, they are called microglial cells. When they are present in the bone, we call them osteoclast cells. When they are present in the spleen, they are known as a red pulp macrophage or splenic macrophage. Okay, and they act as sentinel cells to detect pathogens and damage them. Okay, and in the skin they are known as Langerhans cells. So based on where they are located, we give them different names. So Langerhans cells, alveolar macrophage, microglial cells, Kupffer cells, red pulp macrophage, or osteoclasts, they are all varieties of macrophage itself, and they are all derived from the monocytes which is present in the bloodstream. Next is the function. So first is phagocytosis. They are the predominant phagocytic cells. They are very good at phagocytosis. They engulf and digest pathogens and they release the debris outside. So antigen presentation is another important job. They are professional antigen presenting cells, and they have MHC class 2 molecule in their surface, which makes them a professional antigen presenting cells with which they can activate T cell. Next is the cytokine production. They can produce tumor necrosis factor alpha, interleukin 1, interleukin 6 and interleukin 12. Three very major interleukins, interleukin 1, interleukin 6 and interleukin 12 are produced from macrophage itself. If you want to know details about interleukin 1, interleukin 6 and interleukin 12, I have detailed video in this channel. You can watch those videos. But for now, these are the cytokines all released by macrophage. Inflammatory regulation, inflammatory response. Macrophage have both category of inflammatory response, pro-inflammatory response or anti-inflammatory roles. Both category of roles are found. We are going to see the difference between these two roles very soon. Next is the tissue remodeling. They aid in wound healing and also in the regeneration of tissues when there is any tissue damage. Because if there is an infection due to inflammation, there are tissue damage, and the macrophage can manage to heal some of this tissue damage. And reactive oxygen and nitrogen species production is another capability of macrophages. Although neutrophils are particularly specialized in reactive oxygen species mediated destruction of pathogen, but macrophage also have this capability, okay, which provides them antimicrobial property and antimicrobial effects in our body. Starting with the mechanism of action, recognition and phagocytosis. There are pattern recognition receptors like TLRs, toll-like receptors that can detect pathogen associated molecular patterns. Full short form is PAMP, pathogen associated molecular patterns. Okay, and here you can see opsonization that enhances the phagocytosis is in multifolds. And what is opsonization? When there is a single bacteria without any kind of antibody coating, it is not that lucrative to eat. But when a bacteria is coated with antibody in the surface, then suddenly this macrophage can engulf them much eagerly, and that is known as opsonization. That process is done. And phagosome formation is another thing. This is a bacterium in red color. Okay, with the help of the receptor, this macrophage engulfs the bacteria inside, and once it engulfs it, we call it phagosome, because after the phagocytosis, the vesicle that is formed inside the cell cytosol of the macrophage or phagocytic cell is known as phagosome. Now this phagosome is fused with lysosome, and lysosome start to empty all its enzyme and it becomes phagolysosome. Now this phagolysosome, what it causes? It causes disruption and destruction of the complete structure of the bacteria or pathogen, and then they release all the debris, soluble debris outside of the phagocytic cell, outside of the macrophage. That is phagosome formation. So next is the antigen presentation. Obviously we know that these professional antigen presenting cell, that is this macrophage, can process antigen in the surface. How they can do it? Because basically the pathogen is engulfed inside, degraded, destroyed with the help of the phagolysosome formation, and fragment of this pathogen is showcased outside to the rest of the immune system via the class 2 MHC molecule on the surface. So this macrophage, they have this MHC2 on the surface, and to the surface of MHC2 they put the antigen, and this antigen now can be detected and recognized by CD4 T helper cells. And after recognizing this antigen and connecting to the macrophage with B7 co-receptor and CD25 on the surface of the CD4 T helper cell, they are going to have a proper crosstalk signaling, and the T cell gets activated. And once the helper T cell gets activated, they are going to signal further activation of other immune responses in our body. So that is an important role. They interact with the CD4 T helper cells and activate the adaptive immunity. So the macrophage plays a direct role to contact and activate the adaptive immunity. Next is the cytokine production. the mode of action of the cytokine production, they produce multiple kind of cytokines. They produce pro-inflammatory cytokines and anti-inflammatory cytokines, both. The pro-inflammatory cytokines, example, tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNF alpha, interleukin 1 beta and interleukin 6. These are pro-inflammatory cytokines. That means release of these cytokines cause a further activation of inflammatory response and a continuation of inflammatory response. While there are anti-inflammatory cytokines like interleukin 10 and transforming growth factor beta, TGF beta. Interleukin 10 and TGF beta among, and also interleukin 4, they are among the anti-inflammatory. These are anti-inflammatory cytokines, and these are all inflammatory or pro-inflammatory cytokines. Always remember the difference. Anti-inflammatory cytokines will not cause any excessive amount of the inflammatory response. It actually prevents it, try to prevent it. That's their job. So this release of pro-inflammatory and anti-inflammatory cytokines promote either T helper 1 or T helper 2 cells. For example, interleukin 12, which is a part of pro-inflammatory cytokine, is going to activate T helper 1, okay, and interleukin 4, interleukin 13, they are going to activate T helper 2. So based on the release of pro-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory cytokines, different array of pathway will be activated. If pro-inflammatory cytokines activated, they are going to activate T helper 1 and crosstalk with the adaptive immunity, and if T helper 2 is going to be activated, then they have a separate response in the immune system. Now, mechanism of action in the activation states, how exactly it is done? There are two things. Remember, one is the classical activation pathway, another one is the alternative activation pathway. Classical pathway is activated by interferon gamma, okay, and other pathogen associated molecular patterns like lipopolysaccharide layer, which is a part of the bacteria, not part of our eukaryotic cell. So this is a classic activation, either TNF alpha, interferon gamma or LPS is going to activate that, okay, and pro-inflammatory cytokines are going to be responsible for this, and they cause microcidal activity. They kill the microorganism via reactive oxygen species or nitrogen species, okay. Next is alternative pathway. In the alternative activation, here it is done by the interleukin 4, interleukin 10 and TGF beta, okay. So TGF beta here again, they promotes tissue repair. Tissue repair is promoted, fibrosis is promoted, and anti-inflammatory effects will start to show up. So there are two separate pathways. Classical pathway causes the activation of pro-inflammatory cytokines that causes tissue damage, that causes inflammatory response, while alternative activation is going to activate through the interleukin 10, IL-4 and TGF beta, which is going to cause anti-inflammatory response and heal the tissues. Tissue repair will be done, fibrosis will be done, okay. See, the decreased renal damage is due to this pro-inflammatory, anti-inflammatory response, but if there is pro-inflammatory response, renal damage will be more. Next, finally, the summary. The macrophages are versatile immune cells, we know that, and they are bigger cells and they have complicated structures, multiple CDs in the surface, and they crosstalk to the adaptive immunity. Their functions including phagocytosis, that's their primary role, engulf bacteria and throw the debris out, and also showcase some part of the bacteria as antigen presentation, cytokine production. Both pro-inflammatory cytokines and anti-inflammatory cytokines are produced, and they can also cause tissue repair. Activation states either via M1 or via M2 macrophage allow them to adapt to the inflammatory or healing process. Either they go with the inflammatory process, inflammatory response, or they can go with the healing response of the tissue. They can toggle between both, this shift between both these issues. They are critical for maintaining the immune homeostasis in our body and to respond to the infective agents that we encounter. That's all regarding macrophage. I believe you like this video. If you like this video, then watch the whole video series regarding the immune system cells and tell us how do you feel about it. Like this video if you like it, dislike the video if you don't like it, and also share the video. Subscribe to this channel to get more videos like that in future. Thank you. Bye.